Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kinberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. Novels that have a strong sense of place can transport the reader. You get a real sense of what a place looks like and what goes on there and what the people are like. Let's take a look at how that works today and turn the spotlight on Kelly Young's The Piper Sniper, the first of her travel writer series. And just as a side note, for the month of August 2026, all the royalties from the Piper Sniper and the other travel writer mysteries will be donated to the Canadian Red Cross's Canadian Wildfire Fund. So it's a chance to actually do some good and get a book to read. Win-win. So let's take a look at the Piper Sniper. Casey Robertson is a retired news reporter who now writes a column called The Traveling Klutz for Our Ontario, a monthly magazine. As a travel writer, she goes to different places in Ontario to highlight the arts, cultural events, and interesting history in those places. Her first trip is to Kincardine, a tourist town on Lake Huron. It has a solid Scottish influence, including the Kincardine Scottish Pipe Band and some beautiful scenery, shops, and so on. The plan is to take sunset photos of the area and of the band, especially as one of the pipers, the so-called Phantom Piper, climbs to the top of the local lighthouse to pipe down the sun. And fortunately, Casey runs into her former editor and still friend, Marie Butler, who's also in town. So she knows she'll get some good input on her work. Everything changes when the Phantom Piper is shot and falls to his death. Inspector Woolsey takes charge of the investigation, and he's none too happy to see Casey there, since she's a member of the press. He thinks the press just gets in the way, and he's especially not fond of Casey, whom he knows. But because she was taking photos, he needs the evidence she may have. And Casey's instinct is to follow the story. So very begrudgingly, the two realize they may need each other. The first order of business is to find out who the dead man was. He is soon identified as Matthew Lachlan. With the body identified, Woolsey and Casey work to find out who would want to kill him. As it turns out, Casey hears, sees, and sometimes bumps into essential information, and Inspector Woolsey, of course, has the force of the law, as well as access to police resources. And in the end, they find out the truth. So what are the elements in this novel? What keeps it together? The novel is told from Casey's point of view, first person past tense. So we learn things as she does. She's smart and independent, but she gets into more than one mishap, hence the title of her column. She has a solid, loving marriage to her husband, Jim, who comes with her to Kincardine. Casey can be stubborn, but she knows she's not perfect, and she knows she owes a lot to Jim and to Marie Butler. And those aren't the only characters we meet in the novel. As the story goes on, we get to know some of the people who live in the town, as well as those who are involved in the mystery of Matthew Lachlan's death. In this novel, the plot matters, of course, but the characters are important parts of the story's development, too. And I can say without spoiling the story that some of them become regular parts of this series, regular visitors, if you want to put it that way. This is a cozy, so the violence is not gratuitous and there's no explicitness. Still, it's not a frothy romp. There's real tension about who the sniper might be and whether that person is targeting other pipers. And it's clear that Matthew Lachlan's murder has shaken everyone, even tourists who are only in Kincardine for a few days. The town of Kincardine is also an important element in the novel. It's an essential part of the story. Readers learn a little bit about the town's history, claims to fame, and atmosphere. After all, that's what Casey's going after. And as the novel goes on, we follow along as Casey explores the area. The Piper Sniper is a look at one of Ontario's beautiful hidden gems. It features a small tourist town, a murder that shatters the town's peace, and a journalist protagonist who finds herself drawn into the investigation. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kinberg. Thanks for watching.